Joining me right now is Democratic Senator Robert Menendez, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and a member of the bipartisan Gang of Eight. Sir, it's great to have you here, and I want to start out with Marco Rubio and the fact that he has shown an inclination to listen to Senators John Cornyn and others about border security, and it's lacking in this reform bill. Are you worried? Can you trust Marco Rubio at this point and what his motives are moving forward if this is really going to pass?
Well, look, I take Senator Rubio at his word that he is committed to the Gang of Eight's proposal that he helped craft and that he wants to see it pass in the Senate. And look, we're all open to consider constructive suggestions on any element of the bill, as long as they're simply not poison pills which are sought to undermine the very essence of the bill and a pathway to citizenship. So I take him at his word. We met last night as the Gang of Eight. He was intricately involved. I suspect that he's trying to maximize votes on his side, to have company, and we look forward to the ultimate result being positive.
Sir, meanwhile, you know, just out of the Senate side of things, as we came in showing this shot that's taking place right now, Steve King holding this all-day news conference so that those on the House side can show their anger with what's going on with immigration reform. The House Speaker, John Boehner, has signaled that he's not going to bring an immigration bill to the floor unless he has the support of a majority of his caucus. And meanwhile, Dana Rohrabacher has kind of threatened the Speaker, saying that if he permits a vote to come forward on this, that he should be removed as Speaker if he doesn't have that majority ahead of time. Do you think that this intimidation tactic from the House side is going to stall what most Americans want to see, comprehensive immigration reform?
Well, look, I'm sure that Speaker Boehner doesn't take well to threats. And at the end of the day, right now, what we are focused on is passing a comprehensive bill in the Senate that yesterday the independent Congressional Budget Office said what we knew all along, that this would be good for America's economy, that it would increase the gross domestic product of the United States by about 3.3% in the first 10 years, 5.4% in the next 10 years, that it would reduce the deficit by $197 billion in the first 10 years and another $700 billion in the second 10 years. That's almost $1 trillion off the backs of Americans by simply having comprehensive immigration reform. So for Republicans who oppose this, ultimately they're going to be left having seen that the economy is going to actually improve as a result of immigration reform, seeing the new opportunities that are going to exist for businesses to grow and to have greater secure country. Their only arguments left are going to be cultural ones, and I think that that's going to leave them in poor standing.
Sir, I want to get you on the record about what's going on with Syria, because I know that you and Democratic Senator Carl Levin of Michigan, Republican Senator John McCain wrote a letter to President Obama asking for stronger military action in Syria. But do we really know what we're getting into with that one, whether we can actually solve anything, and if we're trusting the right people, especially when we consider the U.S.? Is it expected that we get involved in every regional and sectarian conflict?
Well, look, no, we don't. It's only when our national interests and security are at stake. And what are our national interests and security that drove me, Senator Levin, the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, and John McCain, the ranking member, to send that letter to the president? Number one is, in addition to the humanitarian tragedy, which is over 93,000 lives lost, 4.5 million people displaced within the country, I think over 1 million people outside of the country, we have the challenges of a failed state that could ultimately allow terrorists, Hezbollah, al-Nusra, Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and others, and al-Qaeda affiliates, to launch attacks against our allies and against us ourselves out of Syria. We have chemical weapon caches that ultimately can fall into the hands of those who would be terrorists at the end of the day in terms of using it. We have the potential collapse of Jordan next door, which has been an ally of the United States, and the ripple effect that has in the region and on our ally, the State of Israel. So when you look at all of that, it dictates that we have vital national interests. And the question is, can we actually tip the scales and get to a political negotiation that means Assad leaves, we have a coalition government, and we can move forward and end the bloodshed and pursue our interests?
Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey. Sir, thanks for making time for me. I do appreciate it.